Hello and welcome to today's walk around video. This is Danny from Bradley James Classics, and we are showing you a very nice example of the well-loved Suzuki Jimni. Now, we've just recently sold a beautiful classic Range Rover, and the gentleman who bought the car asked if we would trade this one in, and we were very happy to do so, because actually the Jimnys are an excellent, capable little compact SUV, and these later ones, which are really still the third generation of the Jimny, they are very well regarded. In fact, they are, I think, a bit easier to live with than the early generation, because they do have a better power plant. They have a 1328cc VVT engine, which is variable valve timing. And for anyone who is aware of the earlier in this generation Jimny, they would appreciate the extra power that VVT engine gives you. Now, this one's covered 108,000 miles. It's had two previous owners, and the car has been extremely well maintained by the previous owner, who was an engineer, and following a previous MOT, had gone about making sure that all the chassis was blasted down and then treated. So it's a solid old girl. It's quite important on these. Treated it to a set of quality matching tyres, which aren't so old. And the model of this one, if I just pop round the back, you'll see that next to Jimny it talks about an SZ3. Now, that's the trim type. So this particular one comes in black, of course. Most of them are white, so you'll probably struggle to find a black one. For some reason, people go for the superior white is the colour scheme, but it's nice to find a black one. However, being the Jimny, which people would associate with being a fairly basic utility vehicle, this one does have electric windows. It does have remote central locking. It's got electrically adjusted heated mirrors. It has front fog lamps as standard. So actually pretty decent spec. The roof rails also come with this one, and you'll see that it's got a pair of bars on there, so you could mount bike rack, roof rack, etc, etc. Quite handy. I know a little bit about Jimnys because I actually have one of these cars myself on our little fleet of cars. We've had it a number of years now, and I can certainly vouch for these cars being a very capable off-road vehicle. Their reputation goes before them, because they are tough as old boots, and because of the power to weight ratio, it does make them a very fine performer if you do ever encounter mud, snow, etc, etc. So if you live in a bit of a remote area and you're ever concerned about the potential of being snowed in, if you have one of these tucked in your garage, that will definitely help you continue with life, whatever the weather. Now, the four-wheel drive system on this, it's a part-time four-wheel drive, meaning that most of the time, in fact nearly all of the time, you'll be driving around with just these rear wheels. But if you do encounter loose road surface, you can, on these later models, hit a button on the dashboard that will put you into four-wheel drive mode. It's actually quite an easy thing to do. The earlier vehicles used to have an extra knob by the gear stick, very much like the old Land Rovers, but the later models, that wasn't the case. That was an electronic switch. You can also have high gears and low gearing, and that gives you the equivalent of sort of splitting the gears. So if you really were in some thick mud and you had to pop it down into low gear ratio, you'll slowly find yourself pulling yourself out of sticky situations, and that's exactly how to use that gearbox. Now, it's a very proper four-wheel drive. It has independent suspension, coil spring suspension. It actually has a transfer box, so it's not sort of one of these electronic type 4x4 systems. It does have an electronic switch to turn it on and off, but it is old school. It's a body off car, like a Land Rover, and it has a ladder frame underneath. So it's a very capable bit of kit. Despite its size and price point, they are well loved for good reason. Now, in regards to living with one of these, because you're going to be driving around in two-wheel drive for the vast majority of time, and because it's only got a 1300cc engine and it's light, you will enjoy a 39 mpg when you're out and about. Obviously less if you're doing town driving. So pretty decent mpg from a car that can be a four-wheel drive. Very attractive. So I think we've gone over the specification with you. Black Pearl is the name of this colour. And in this particular model range, as I say, you'll either find black ones and white ones. Most are white. It's nice to find a black one in nice condition like this. Now, if you want to know a little bit about performance, flat out this car will do 87 miles an hour. You're not going to be winning any races in one of these, but that is from just an 83 brake horsepower engine. 0 to 60 comes in about 13 seconds, and on a tank full of fuel you can do 343 miles according to the information in the owner's manual. So to just recap, this is a well-maintained and pretty all-round good condition, solid Jimny. Looks great in black. It's actually, even though it says a 60, it actually does come from 2020, let me see, 2011 I should say. That's when it was registered. And I'm going to walk around the car slowly and point out any imperfections in the bodywork, but I'm going to start. We've got steel wheels, new tyres all round, excellent condition. As I look here, glass in good order, a little bit of a scratch back here, but again I'm getting in really close to show you that. Otherwise the best of that panel is okay. It's a very shallow parking dent that you can't really see, but the trouble is with a black car, it's like a mirror, so it will show any little imperfection up. And as you could imagine, just the odd small mark here and there. Through the bottom they've actually got a ABS plastic panel through the bottom, so they're pretty tough, and so if you do come into contact with anything, you're hitting plastic and not metal. Down at a low point you'll see all of that's rather nice. Front wing, good order, can't see any damage there. Front bumper, I can see a bit of a minor scuff on this front bumper, not terrible. Couple of stone chips here and there, but nothing major at all on this bonnet, otherwise really nice. The rest of that bumper looks good. This size doesn't have the scuff. Front wing, good order. Stone chip being fussy. Looking at this driver's door, there's a little bit of a sort of shallow dent there. It's hard to see being a black car, but it has got a minor dent there. Down at low level, all in excellent order. Showing you up on top of the roof, that's all good. And then back down for this rear panel, a minor mark. I mean, some of this stuff might actually polish out, but I'd like to show you everything. And down at a low level, you've got a very minor scuff down there. The back of this bumper looks in good order, as does this rear door. Spare wheel, and this one's got a tow bar and little plug, so it is capable of taking a little trailer. Don't expect to tow too much, despite it being a four-wheel drive capability. I think a light trailer is probably what that's aimed at. Let's have a look in the back. Now, you don't get a huge boot area, but I can tell you, you've only got to pull these up, and then very quickly you've suddenly got quite a reasonable bit of boot space. So there are those I know who can put a dog cage in the back of these, but of course they lose their rear seating. Now, I've only just pulled those knobs up and pushed that back quickly. You can do a little bit more of a thorough job of that, but just to give you an idea, it's pretty easy to make the back quite spacious. The standard of the interior is in really good condition actually. The cloth grey seating, let me show you. A little scuff on this front here, which is always the way when you brush in, but this is in all good order, this bolster. As you can see, the seats are nice and clean, as is the head lining, as are the door cards. There's carpet mats in here, which is usually a sign of a careful owner using carpet mats rather than big rubber mats, so I don't think it's being used too industrially. Now these later Jimneys have got like a facelifted dash from the earlier model. I think they come out in about 1998 actually, so this one being a 2011, it's way into the generation. I've got a couple of controls here. I've got a CD changer control and a radio of course here. This is all bespoke Suzuki. This is the cooling system here. You can turn a heated rear windscreen on. There's a 12-volt socket and an ashtray. It does have a locking wheel nut key, and it does come with 2 keys. It comes with the dealer manuals and all of the handbooks that would have come with a car when it was new. Power steering, nice positive steering on these. The steering wheel is all in good condition, as is the gear knob, and you can see it's all nice and clean and tidy throughout here. Pretty basic here. You've just got the usual fuel gauge, temperature gauge, rev counter and a speedo. Here is where I could operate my electric windows and set the front headlamp level. I mentioned electric windows, and here as the you can driving fog lamps at the front and then the fog light at the back. That pretty much is all the controls. In here is the dealer manual I told you. There's just 2 former keepers, and in here is where you'll find the usual information regarding things like the radio code, so on and so forth. So it's very nice that this has all been nicely looked after. And I think I did mention to you the locking wheel nut, which is pretty important. I'll see if I can do a one-handed opening of the bonnet. And if so, I'll show you what's what under there. Ah, great, I didn't pull it hard enough. There we are. Oh dear, I think it's my lucky day when it comes to try and pull the bonnet open. Well, I can assure you we've checked the car over. All the levels are checked. When the cars leave us, we do a thorough PDI, and the PDI will reveal any minor little glitches that we'll fix before they leave us. But having been driven to us and having taken this car out on a test drive and having put it on the ramp, we know that this is a good one, and hence our decision to sell it for you. When we do get trade-ins that don't quite come up to the mark, we will dispose of them through the trade, whereas this is a desirable little car, well looked after, looks great in black, and it's a very capable little car. So 108,000 miles, 2011, a 1.3 mini SUV, drives ever so well, starts on the button, super reliable, lots of specialists around, so you don't have to take this to the main dealer to get serviced. Lots of extras. This one's completely standard, bar perhaps those extra bars on the roof there, but you do see these with all manner of bolt-on bits for those who want to use them in nature, let's say. So we have this in stock. We can deliver this anywhere in the UK for a sensible price point. We just need your postcode to give you a quote to do so, and we can take in a part exchange. That's how we got this one. So if you have any questions, if I've missed anything in my video, please get in touch through the usual channels and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. If you fancy having this one delivered to you, as I say, we just need your postcode, and we can also part exchange your existing car, classic or light commercial vehicle. Well folks, thank you very much for having a look at this Suzuki Jimni from 2011 with me. Been a pleasure. Danny at Bradley James Classics, signing out.